Hey, Jim Hoffman here for EMS Office Hours. This is your Monday Minutes, and we are going to continue on with our EMS quick study tips here. And this is episode 35, and we're really getting into these study tips, guys. And we're going to go into now neurological emergencies. This is part one. This is kind of a big section, so I'm going to try to break it down into smaller chunks so that you guys can really take advantage of these tips and kind of really hammer down into the content here, okay? As always, I try to ask and answer the question, why is this important? Now, of course, I've said this on previous episodes. Exam preparation is important because these are key elements you will see on many EMS exams, and these are pulled from the EMS Quick Study Guide that's available on the website at emssco.com. However, it's also important because this is the type of stuff that's going to help you with your documentation, with your clinical assessments, your impression of patients, your interaction with other healthcare and providers like nurses, doctors, other paramedics, EMTs, things like that. Okay, this all ties in. And while these are just short snippets and are just key points of these topics, my hope, of course, is that you will go ahead and research more if some reason you don't understand what I'm saying, if you feel you need some more information to really kind of master this content. All right, so this is why this stuff is important. You know, these are great tips. These are quick tips for you to really focus on key elements. But if you need to get the broader scope of this, open up that textbook, use something like TurboMedic, something like that to help you really master the content. So let's get on with today's episode. Again, talking about the central nervous system today. Okay, and this is pretty much the brain, the spinal cord, all involved in those serious neurological problems, right? Your CNS kind of covers anything that's serious that's going on neurologically, okay? And it really affects key elements, okay, of certain systems, right? So this is just a quick overview, and we're talking about the cognitive system, okay? And this is responsible for you being fully alert, for your awareness, and a normal wakeful state, right? So that's your cognitive system when it comes to the CNS. And then we have our cerebral homeostasis, right? Now, this is like your balance. It maintains your brain perfusion and oxygenation, okay? And it uses cerebral autoregulation to do all of this, okay? So very important. Like I said, these are the kind of the serious neurological issues that you'll see if these start getting messed up in the CNS, right? So this is what these different areas are going to be responsible for, okay? Another one is your motor control, right? And this affects, why people have seizures, right? It affects everything from like little tics you might have or what you might see to seizures, to things like complaints of, feeling weak or even paralysis, okay? So that's what your motor control part of your CNS is going to be, would affect, okay? And of course, sensation, things like alterations in sensory, right? You're going to see things like weakness and paralysis as well, okay? So any sort of alteration that might affect the sensory system is going to affect the patient's, body, okay? They might have that weakness, they might have the paralysis, right? So the CNS affects all of these four different sort of systems that I just talked about, in the motor, sensation, the cerebral homeostasis, right? All sort of tie in together. Okay, and this is what's going to affect the CNS, affects each one of these, and this is sort of that global sort of thing that you're going to see some issues with and start thinking about other issues that are going on and what's causing them. We're going to get into that next time. Okay, again, this is a quick introduction here today and into the neurological emergencies, and we're talking about central nervous system as a whole. We're going to break it down a little bit more, okay, as we get into more and more sessions, okay? Of course, stroke and seizures and all that stuff too, right? So we're going to get into that more next week, though. We're going to kind of focus on something called Vindicate. Now, you might have heard this before. Maybe you'll even look it up before we get there next week. But this is going to be a way to remember types of CNS disorders. Okay? All right, guys, that's it for me. Again, a real quick episode this week. Any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for other shows, let me know. Send me an email. It's contact@emsofficehours.com. Okay? Do me a favor, guys. I ask you just to do one thing for me if you're watching this video. Just tell one other person about it. Like it on Facebook. Share it with a friend on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment below on YouTube. Share it with other people you know. Copy the YouTube link and share it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever the case may be. Okay, do me a favor. Just tell one other person. Help spread the word. It really helps me and it kind of rewards me a little bit that I get the word out about these sessions. All right, guys. Again, that's it. Any questions, whatever? My email again. It's contact@emsofficehours.com. As always, I am Jim Hoffman for EMS Office Hours. Stay safe.